Well, I'm just about to leave Debdale and the blacking's begun behind me. Peter's just talking to the gentleman that's doing it. There's been some confusion as to where it should be, but I think it's being done right here, in situ. So how long do you reckon it will take to do?
A couple of hours. I'll be doing it by about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock.
Okay.
So, depending on how long he takes to lift it up, and so.
Okay.
So, he's not here yet, so.
So, oh, it'll be good once it's done.
Yeah.
Anyway. So the blacking's begun, but then the boat's got to be lifted and then the underneath done. This is the first time that the underneath of the boat will be blacked since Peter's had it. So that will be interesting to see. So this coat is the first of 2 coats going on, and it should have about 6 hours between coats to dry. So they'll put one on now, they'll put another one on later on today, and then they'll wait for it to go off before the boat goes back in the water. But I think it's all going to be done within the next couple of days. It's looking much better for it as it is.
Here we are, Wednesday lunchtime. I've had my music lesson, my lunch, so we're ready to move now. This is the trailer that's going to be carrying the boat back down to the water. And here is the boat, all newly blacked, new anodes fitted all the way around, all ready to be lifted so that those blocks can be taken away and the trailer can be slid underneath. At the back. It's been my last chance to look at the underside for a while. All clean and ready. That horrible noise, I've realised, is when they're using the steering. Oops. Ooh. What did they bump into then? Whoa. I hope that was the crane and not me. Okay. And now we get ready to move the trailer, which has its own engine and is operated by a control panel on a cable, like a big remote control toy. Get it lined up. heading towards the water again. There's the driver. Whoop. I'm going to get out of the way of the crane now. And just settling back in the water. And there we go, floating again. So, I've been back to Market Harbour for a while, a little bit longer than I first thought, because I was invited, in fact we were invited now, to go along to a little music group that's run by somebody who comes on our bandoneon calls. So we'll be down there this afternoon. This was a test run, so when the boat was finished and hoisted up so the bottom could be painted and then taken back down to the water, that was on a Wednesday about lunchtime. So we filled it up with diesel and topped up the can for the heating system, and set off down here. I stopped at Foxton to get water, and I know that from Foxton down to here it's only about 5 miles, and you do have to stop for a swing bridge, which takes a bit of time, but the engine was getting very, very warm when I got here, so I knew that this would be a good test. And so I got going, and instead of cruising at 1050 RPM, which is what I've been in the habit of doing, I put it up to 1250, so it's about 20% more. And it was a funny feeling, because I'm so used to being careful that just pushing the throttle open felt wrong. But I did it, and there weren't too many moored boats that I had to slow down, so I got a good test run. And when I got here, the temperature was still showing maybe 70 degrees, so that's completely comfortable. So it does appear to have been a complete fix for the problem. When I leave here, I'll do the same in reverse, and I've promised to drop into Debdale Wharf and say hello to Andy and let him know how it's gone. But it's all working fine, so we're just sorting out exactly when I'm going to leave here. Until this morning I couldn't get up to Nottingham because the River Soar was in flood, but the notification is that it's clear again now, although I have just been warned that if we get any more rain it could easily go back into flood, so I think I'm going to try and get the other side of it, so I don't get trapped down at this end. Yes, so while we've been here, I've just been doing the endless job of touching up paint chips everywhere and cleaning out the bilge. Got a bit messy during all the work, and trying to fit a new container underneath the stern gland to catch water drips. That was a messy job, and it's not completely done. There's the bilge is really in 4 sections, because there's 2 long beams, steel beams, that run down the length of it, and then there's a small section with a little welded plate in it, in front of it, right where the stern gland is. That section is not separate from the rest of the bilge, because there are holes, probably deliberately put in to let water flow out. Now I don't really want that, because if you get any greasy water dripping in off the stern gland, I don't want it going around the rest of the bilge. The container we had there before, which was some kind of old bottle that somebody had cut up, did that, but that had to go, because now the skin tank goes back further. The whole the outlet, sorry, the return hose comes in right where that bottle was, so that's why it needs to be a smaller one now. So that will probably need some more work in the future, just to make sure it's working. I'm not convinced that the pump is working properly now, but I normally keep the stern gland so it doesn't drip, so we shouldn't get water in there. The annoying little bits of coolant that I used to see in the center section of the bilge beforehand wasn't in evidence at all when I looked yesterday, which means that it was probably coming from a hose or a hose connection, and they've all been refitted, and in some cases new hoses fitted, and hopefully that's fixed that problem too. So yeah, so we're ready to give it a good go on flowing rivers. And I didn't realise till I did some detailed planning yesterday, but I've got to navigate 3 or 4 rivers to get to York. What was it? Yes, the Ouse, the Trent, the Aire and the Soar, and in 2 cases they're tidal, which really caught me by surprise. So I'll be really glad of the extra power in availability in the engine.
Thank you to all my subscribers, and thank you for commenting. If you've commented on any of my videos, I really appreciate it. If you've liked the video and would like to see what I put out in the future, it's not always technical stuff, I do warn you. I do all sorts of things like storage in tiny spaces, interior renovations, like when we did had the new seat cushions fitted and the new bungs. So it's all manner of things that are boat related. But if that's the sort of thing that you would be interested in watching, please subscribe. I would really love to meet up with you on in your messages. So until next week and next week's video, bye.